Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Whiteville, North Carolina, visiting Vann, Underwood, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and I'm checking out a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee 80th Anniversary Edition. This vehicle is sitting on 265/50 Pirelli tires wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels in a Granite Crystal finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Bright White Clear Coat, and it's pretty much a regular white. Nothing really special to say about it, other than it shows off all the features of the vehicle. So here in the grille, and the badging is actually that Granite Crystal. So you can see the Jeep badging is a Granite Crystal right in here, painted on the surface. You also have that here in the center. The rest of the grille is a gloss black. The bezels around the headlights are also in black. And around the fog lights, at the very bottom is a flat black right in here. So this is all a flat black here. And right in the center is your radar adaptive cruise control sensor. So it's right in here. Parking sensors across the front as well. So you can see one of them here. They're kind of blending in to the white. Now all the exterior lights on the vehicle here in the front are powered by halogen. So it's a halogen bulb through your low beams, high beams, fog lights, turn signals, everything here in the front. Taking a look at the profile here, the handles, the door handles are body colored. The badging here is a Granite Crystal, as well as the upper portion of the side mirror has that same Granite Crystal, blending in the wheels and all the other features that are going to blend it in with that same color. So the privacy glass back here is kind of solidified in with gloss pillars. So these are gloss pillars. Now the front windows are rolled down now, but they're not tinted. So it doesn't come from the factory with front tinted windows, but it does in the back. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system, and this one's designed as a full proximity key to where you can use this vehicle 100% as long as you have the key inside your pocket, inside a bag. As long as it's with you, you don't ever have to take it out of your pocket. There is a physical key here on the inside you can take out, but generally just keep it with you. It has a little bit of weight to it, but it is rounded and smooth, so you can carry it around relatively easy. It has a lock, unlock, the ability to open up the power liftgate, and a remote start, and a panic button. Let's push that panic button. Has a nice strong horn. So as long as you have it with you, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in my pocket. As long as it's on the outside of the door, it could be in a bag, like I said, or a pocket. You just push this button here to lock the doors. To unlock it, you simply put your hand on the back of the handle. Now this is only for the front driver and passenger doors. You can unlock it by putting your hand back here. There's a sensor here. It senses the key on the outside of the door. It only works when the key is on the outside of the vehicle. You can access the vehicle. If you're inside with the key, people cannot open the door. There's also a physical key location here on the driver's side only. Here's the inside of the passenger side door, and looking pretty good. It's mostly black, but it does have some stitching here in a French design in white. There's a metallic chrome portion here, kind of matching the handle, and then you have this kind of like a synthetic wood grain type look here, which is looking pretty nice. Now the soft touch surfaces are here at the top, across the whole top of the door. It's like a Nerf material, quite soft. Down here, around your armrest, from here all the way to here, is like a vinyl, a soft vinyl. So it's very comfortable around your arm. The rest of the door is a hard touch plastic. There's a nice big speaker in the door here, as well as a small tweeter speaker there in the pillar. This is enclosed, so you can utilize that as a pocket. There's also a small pocket here, and a large pocket at the bottom, including a cup holder or a bottle holder. Here in the threshold there is a bright sill plate, aluminum, kind of like a brushed non-reflective aluminum. Now the seat on the passenger side is able to go up and down, so it's powered. You can go forward and back, you can go up and down. It's quite articulate for a passenger seat. You also have four-way lumbar adjustment here. The seats are heated and ventilated, leather trimmed seats, and they have that same stitching like you find in the door. There's perforations here in the center part, right in here, quite small, but there's a lot of them. And the smooth leather there on the outside. Now the side of the seat right here is cloth. So this cloth, this smooth cloth, is more supple than the leather against this hard plastic. So so that way as you're sitting down and getting out, they went ahead and put cloth there so that way it doesn't damage the leather if they put it there on the side. So I think that's a really good idea to go ahead and to do that, because it is like a microfiber, really smooth cloth. Now with the 80th anniversary, you can actually see right here, it says 80th and it has a little Jeep. It has these Berber carpets, looking pretty cool for your floor mats. There's plenty of legroom here in the front. Now the dash, this is hard plastic, and then this is the soft Nerf type material like you find in the door. And then you have the little Jeep emblem right here. It's looking pretty cool. Now it has a locking glove compartment, and it's felt lined, so it's a felt lined compartment. You also have a little compartment here at the top, so you can put your manual or other things up here at the top, and it's pretty good size. You can see the opening for the front door is really nice. It's really wide, tall. There's nothing getting in the way of your legs when you're getting in. It's just a nice wide open space. Here in the back is slightly smaller, but in general it's pretty good size. So there's a little bit of a tapering there compared to the front, but your headroom there is nice. The swing of the door is pretty decent. It could go slightly more, but it's pretty darn decent as far as getting in the vehicle. So here's the inside of the back door. It has very similar styling as the front. Soft touch here, just like the front, here and here. And then you have the hard touch surfaces. This is enclosed, and there's your bottle holder at the bottom. Now there's heated seats back here, and they're in the same style as the front, with the stitching, the leather, the perforations in the middle, all that good stuff. They also have the latch system for car seats, which you can access right through this little space here. And then they do recline, so you can see this seat is all the way reclined, giving you an idea of the articulation, and the other one is all the way forward. And you can fold down the headrest. You can see that one's folded down, this one's not, in case you need a little bit more visibility if you don't have anybody in that seat. Now there's cup holders back here in this armrest, and they also have the little bumps in them to utilize for different size cups, so you can wedge in there a little bit better. You can lift that up out of the way when you utilize the center seat. Now there's no bolsters or anything on the center seat, but there is slight bolsters here on the end seats. So the back of the front console, there's climate control vents, but there's also 2 USB ports. There's a 2-stage heated seat control button, and then a power inverter. 3-prong power inverter. On the back of both front seats is a net pocket. So you can see there's this net pocket here. This is a hard touch surface here, kind of protects. It's kind of like it goes in like a concave angle there, and has the net pocket, and then there's little bag holders here and here. There's a slight hump in the center of the floor, so if you have a center passenger regularly, that might be an issue for you, but it's not too bad. It's a lot better than other vehicles. And you can fold these seats down, and when you do that, so you can see the headrest is up. So when we lift this lever here, it kind of does it quickly, but just want to show you as it comes down, it folds the headrest for you, and then as it comes down, the lower portion gets lower as well. So that way it gets as low as it can to give you better cargo space, but to be as close to flat as possible with the cargo area. And even with the seats all the way back almost, you can still fold them down, considering the headrest folds. So that way it kind of helps you, sometimes you have to move the seat forward to lower these seats, but in this case, for most of the time, you should be able to fold these down even with the seats all the way back. And I'll have a night video too as well, showing the headlights, the interior lights, and all that stuff if you want to check that out on my channel. Looking at the back of the vehicle, there's a shark fin antenna that's body colored here at the very top. And then your third brake light is at the top of the glass in this little spoiler here. It does have a rear wiper. The lights here in the back are standard halogen bulbs. There is a turn signal indicator on the side mirror, which you can check out on my night video. It's more visible, and that particular one is powered by LEDs, as well as the third brake light. That's also powered by LEDs. Now the backup camera is in the perfect center position. It's in a high center position right here, and it's well integrated. Doesn't look tacked on or anything. Having it in the center helps out with that, but making it look better, but also just functionality a little bit better. It does have parking sensors across the back, just like the front. You can see one there. And your towing package. Now your towing package has the 4- and 7-way outlets here for the trailer. Right here. It's easy to get to, so you're not crawling underneath the vehicle trying to get to it. It's visible, but it's easy to get to. Speaking of visible, it does have a visible exhaust tip here, right here on the right side, on one side only. Now opening up the power liftgate, we can use the key if we want to. We just double tap this button right here, or there's a button under here. And it's not a physical latch or anything, it's actually just a switch. So we push that and it'll raise for us. There's some lights on the underside of the liftgate. You can check those out. At nighttime they look really good. I have a night video, you can check it out. Okay, so there's a shade which you can move out of the way. You can actually take it completely out if you want to. And if you have all the seats occupied with passengers, this is your cargo space, which is a pretty good amount. I mean, it's really, really nice. There is a subwoofer here on the right side, integrated well. And there is these hooks right here that you can hang bags or whatever, and a 12-volt power supply, and has a little key on it indicating that it turns on and off with the ignition. You can also put a net pocket back here, whatever you want. There's tie downs on all 4 quarters of this cargo area. There's more bag holders here, and another hook for the net pocket. Little storage cubby here on the left side. And this lifts up, and what's cool about this to me is that when you release it, it actually has a latch. So there's actually a latch here. A lot of vehicles don't have a latch. This thing is just rested on the floor. So in the event of an accident, anything that's underneath it or on top of it, or underneath it mostly, and this cover itself, can just lift up and slosh around inside the vehicle. So this secures, when you push it down, it snaps in place, and it secures everything underneath it. So I think that's a good plus. It's easily, things like that's easily overlooked in other vehicles. Also, it's substantially thick and durable. It's not a flimsy, thin, just piece of cardboard feeling thing. So this is nice, really nice. You can also take it out. So it hooks on the other side. You can take this out completely if you need to, but you know, just a really nice design. You also have a full diameter spare tire. So that's another thing nice to have on a four-wheel drive vehicle. You also have these bins. Okay, so with this cover, let's go ahead and do this because this is pretty neat. This cover has this hook, and this hook goes up here like so. It's easier to do with two hands, but there's one hand. So it holds it up for you. And while we have it held up, we can grab these bins. So we have these removable bins. So we can take them out, dump them, clean them, put them back in. It's really handy. There's one on each side. We can also take these out if we want to and just utilize the space around the tire if we need to really cram some stuff in there. But those bins are really handy. To lower the power liftgate, there is a button right here. You just push that. It beeps a couple times and then it starts coming down. Lets you get out of the way. If there was something in the way, it'll feel a resistance and go back up. So it's not like it's going to crush a shopping cart or anything. It has a locking fuel door that's here on the driver's side, which is nice and convenient. And it has a capless design, so you don't have to worry about a cap. Starting up the vehicle, as long as you have the key inside, you push your foot on the brake and push this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat, and the floor mat snaps in place for you, keeps it from sliding around. There's your accelerator and brake pedal, and a foot actuated parking brake here, and behind that is a footrest. There's no protection, it's just carpet here on the footrest. So let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there is a latch a little bit to the right of center, so it's actually right underneath this P. Just reach in, move it to the left, and lift up. And just a little bit of lifting up, it goes the rest of the way by itself. There's the latch right here, so you can see what it does. The underside of the hood has some insulation there on the center part, and it's pretty interesting because it has this seal across the right side but not the left side. There's actually a seal around the entire engine compartment within that, but that seal on the right side keeps debris and stuff from getting in to the intake air. So you can see, not only is it sealed up, the engine compartment, it's really well insulated there on the firewall. And has a big plastic cover. The oil filter is actually underneath this cover, so it's easy to get to when you're changing the oil. It's there on the top instead of the bottom of the engine, like traditional styles. And there's quite a bit of space here in the front because this is a V6. So you can see how much extra room is here. And it looks like it's like missing half of an engine. But the V8 also fits in the Grand Cherokee, so you can get a V8 option as well. So right in here is where you'll find your positive battery terminal. So it's a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Here to the left of the steering column, there's some buttons and switches and stuff. So you saw the release for the fuel door, but you also have the headlight controls. So it has automatic, off, headlight, parking light, and then there's your headlights. Fog lights, you just push right in there, we'll turn those on. Dimmer switch for your interior lights, your interior gauges, ambient lighting, that kind of stuff. It also has a power, tilt, and telescoping steering column that you can actually use while you're driving safely without releasing the steering column. It does have a rear cross traffic alert and blind spot detection system, and the little triangles you see on the side mirrors are the indicators for that system. There's one on either side. I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out, and I have the seat all the way down and all the way back, just to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. So I can put my feet just about straight out, almost completely straight out here. So you can see the possible leg and knee room here, and you can see the pedal in relationship to the center console is not competing so much with the pedal, so it gives you room for your leg here. Same thing here on this side. Now I would definitely have to pull the seat forward in order to drive safely, because it just doesn't have, I'm just a little bit too far back. The steering wheel is a leather wrap steering wheel, really good thickness, and it does give a little bit in the hand. It's not super cushy, but it does have a soft touch surface. It is a heated steering wheel, and it has some buttons here on the front, but it also has some kind of hidden in the back. So back here, there's a toggle up and down, and a center button. Hopefully you can see that. So the up and down on the right side on the back is designed to where you put your hand here and it lines up with your fingers. So the up and down is the volume for the radio. The center button changes through your audio source. On the left side, the up and down changes through radio stations or tracks depending on what you're playing. The center button is to cycle through your presets on your radio only. Here on the right side, this is your cruise control, so you can turn it on, cancel, resume, set on either one of these, or you can change through your speeds if you like. You also have the adaptive cruise control system that you can turn on and set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you using these buttons. Here on the left side is your Bluetooth controls, voice recognition, so that you can answer a call, hang up. You can also use your voice to do quite a bit. It has a very advanced voice recognition system, so you can adjust the climate control, you can call people, you can change the radio stations, all kinds of stuff with the voice recognition. When you buy this vehicle, it comes with its own manual just for the voice recognition. It's quite handy to keep your hands on the wheel and eyes on the road while still staying productive and changing options and stuff. These buttons here, the OK and the arrows around the outside, correspond with the screen between the gauges. We'll get to that in just a minute. Here on the left side, the stock is your turn signal, but it also serves as your front and rear wiper control. Okay, so here's your gauges, and on the far left and far right it has physical gauges. So there on the left side is your RPMs. On the right side is your engine coolant temperature and your fuel gauge. It also has a little arrow next to the pump indicating what side your fuel door is on. But right here in the very center, you can see this is a screen. So you remember these buttons here, the OK and the arrows, that controls this screen. So right now you can see up at the top upper left it has southwest. So that's showing you what the direction the vehicle is facing. So it's a digital compass. You also have the outside temperature. Now right now we're sitting still in the sun. It's not actually 97 outside, so it is a little bit skewed. Once you start driving, it will be more accurate. It shows you what gear you're in here on the right, your big digital speedometer, your odometer at the bottom, and then you have some icons right here. Now the icons, I'm going to push down to show you this is part of a menu system. So the speedometer, the large speedometer, is part of that menu system. If we scroll to the right, we have a more standard traditional style speedometer if that's what you like. And then there is the digital speedometer. Scrolling down, this is where you have the vehicle info screen. We can scroll to the right on this particular icon and get all kinds of temperatures and pressures, including the tire pressure. Scrolling down again, this will be your driver assist. So this will be your adaptive cruise control, and you can set the distance between the vehicle in front of you and all that stuff. So it has that safety features. It also has the lane departure system, lane departure alert system. Fuel economy, now there's two of these, the one and two. So this one, you can see this one has a current miles per gallon, and then this one does not. So if you don't like that constantly changing, if you want to keep an eye on it, it gives you an average and a range. And this one will give you the average and range with the current miles per gallon. Now you can reset these independently, so that way you can keep track of different trips or whatever. Scrolling down again, speaking of trips, you have trip A and trip B. So this keeps track of your miles traveled during this time, the average miles per gallon, and the time, the actual time of the trip. And you can reset these independently as well. Scrolling down, this shows the status of your stop-start feature. This turns the engine off while you're sitting still at like a stoplight or traffic or whatever. Scrolling down again, this shows what your radio's doing. Again, will be stored messages. Again, we'll go into your setup. So we can go in here and we can set up the vehicle. We can also adjust things. So like right here, let's say we want to change that. So right now it's a digital compass. Let's change that. Let's go to the right. We'll change that to the range. Alright, so now we have the range there instead of the digital compass. So depending on your preferences, that might be what you want. Scrolling down again goes back to the digital speedometer. And that would be my default. Now you notice when you go down to other options, the digital speedometer is still there at the top. So that's good. And if you have this over to the traditional style speedometer, when you scroll down, it shows the information in the center of it. It's just smaller. So it's pretty neat. So that's kind of a quick rundown of that screen. There's quite a bit of information there, but you don't have to go into it all the time. It's just there in case you need it or you want to see it. So over here there is actually a speaker there in the center of the dash. I don't know if you can see that next to the light sensor. Alright, so there is the touch screen. And the clarity and the colors and everything on the touchscreen is really fantastic. It is surrounded by gloss black, so it kind of blends in the touchscreen. And the black on the screen is actually pretty close to being black, so it blends in quite a bit. It's not overexposed or anything like that. So if you're not familiar with the Uconnect system, there's icons here at the bottom in which you can cycle through and get to where you want to go. Shows a digital clock and information about the vehicle there at the top. This where it says low, that's telling the climate control. So we can adjust the climate control higher and lower. It is a dual stage as well. So this first icon is the media. So this is showing you right now we have the satellite radio turned on. And what we do is we can go here to source. And we can choose Bluetooth, auxiliary cable, USB 1 or USB 2 in addition to the options that are here. Your presets are there at the very top. Let's push that back in. It shows you information about what's playing. You can adjust the audio here. You can also get traffic and weather and all kinds of different things here. And browse. You can also directly tune to a specific station. Now this is handy on satellite radio because there's so many different stations. So you can do a direct tune directly into what you want. Next icon is climate control, and it's a dual zone, so your driver and passenger can be set independently or you can sync them together like they are right now. A little sync button there. Your fan speed, where you want the air to blow, where you circulate the air, front and rear defrosters, all that stuff is located here. It's also, some of it's located down here as well, but we'll get to that in a second. Now there's a little shortcut to controls, and controls is actually the next icon. So if you want to go there, from this screen quickly, you can do that. So go to controls, and then this is where you'll find your heated seat, ventilated seat, and heated steering wheel for the driver, and the passenger, heated seat, and ventilated seat controls here. You can also view the backup camera without putting it in reverse. And you can even see the active guidelines and everything. Alright, so let's go back to the controls because it went back to our original position. Now there's another shortcut in this one. So controls, there's a settings shortcut to the settings over here, but we'll get to that in a minute. The next icon is apps. So this one actually has two screens. So you have Travel Link, which is nice because you can find gas stations and sort by price, sort by distance, that kind of stuff, or brand. So Travel Link's are really nice. It has lots of different features besides that, but that's one of my favorite features. Now, Projection Manager, this is for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capabilities. You can set up a Wi-Fi hotspot, all kinds of different things here. Off-road pages. Let's go ahead and it takes a second for that to pop up. Okay, so this gives you the articulation and steering angle of your suspension. So you can see I can turn the steering wheel, it gives me my steering angle, and also where the power is going. So right now it's just two-wheel drive. So we can get it when you're in four-wheel drive. It's going to give you a little bit more information. Pitch and roll. This will show how inclined or declined or left or right the vehicle is, and it gives us a degree angle. We also have accessory gauges here that we can access. And select terrain, so this will be your four-wheel drive system. So right now we just have an automatic select terrain. It's like you're selecting the terrain, so it's a self-explanatory name. Alright, so we can also, so we see this phone right here. We don't have a phone paired, but once you do pair a phone, you have recent calls, phone book, and all that stuff that you can use. But you notice this icon's here, but let's say we want to change this phone icon with this off-road pages. We just tap and hold the off-road pages until we grab it, and then we can slide it down and put it right there. So we can customize these icons down here for one. We also have a digital compass, which is pretty neat. The next icon is the navigation, and we can put in a specific address. We can also save addresses, that kind of stuff, put in our home address, our work, but we can also just view the map and see where we're at. We can also pinch zoom in and out if we want to, if we need to. Alright, so the last but not least here is the settings. This is where you want to set up your vehicle. Let's say you don't want the vehicle to beep the horn when you lock it, or remote start, that kind of stuff. We can also change the language and all that. So it's kind of a quick rundown of the screen. It's pretty easy to get to where you want, and then you take the time to set up what you want or change or whatever. So it does have a physical volume knob and tune through the stations, a mute button, four-way flashers, turn off the screen. If you want to just turn the screen off, we can just turn it off. You just tap it to turn it on if you want. Down here is your climate control. So it has a dual zone, driver and passenger. Fan speed is here. You can always turn on automatic climate control if you like and adjust everything for you. You just set your temperature and everything else will work fine. Recirculate the air, front and rear defrosters, all controlled here as well as the screen. Okay, so down here there's some buttons. Here on the right side is your traction control. If you need to spin wheels for whatever reason, like you're stuck or something, for whatever reason you need to spin tires, you can turn that traction control off. Default will be on. Sport mode, you'll have access to it right here. You can turn it on. Or eco mode, which is basically the opposite. This is your start stop or stop start feature. You can turn it off here. Default will be on. This will be your lane sense or lane departure warning system. You can turn that off. Default will be on. Parking sensors, you can turn those off. Default will be on. Right here is what they call park sense. It's a parking aid. So when you put it in reverse, put it in drive, okay, and you're driving along and you push this button, you're telling the vehicle that you want to park. So right now it's searching for a parallel parking spot. If we push OK, it's going to start looking for a perpendicular parking spot. If we put our turn signal to the left, it's going to look for a parking spot on the left side, but default will be on the right side. And once it finds the parking spot that's big enough for the vehicle to go into, it will guide you through on the screen what it wants you to do. And it's actually going to turn the steering wheel, and you just accelerate and brake, that kind of thing. You put it in forward, reverse, all that stuff. So it's a parking aid. It's kind of neat, but I don't know a lot of people that actually use it on a regular basis. Maybe there is. You could let me know in the comments. But it does have that feature. It's called Park Sense. Active Park Sense. Okay, so down here, this little door opens up, and you'll find 2 USB ports, and an auxiliary input, and a 12-volt power supply. And this is all felt lined. You can put your cell phone in here if you'd like. And this is where you would want to plug in your phone to use the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capabilities if you want. There's cup holders. They are illuminated, plus they have these little arms that articulate to adjust for different size cups. And it's mostly open except for this little part right here. And this bottom piece, it's kind of hard to do it with one hand, but this bottom piece is like a rubber floor that you can take out and clean and put back in. So that's a nice little touch there. Okay, so here's the shifter. So let me put it back in park, and you can see it has a nice comfortable feel to it. It's kind of large though, and it could be a little bit smaller, I guess, but it doesn't really get in the way too much because you can go here to the right of it. So it has a little button here in the front. There's reverse, and 2 things will happen. The backup camera will pop up when you put it in reverse with the active guidelines, plus your parking sensors will activate. So not only will it give you an audible warning if there's something you might hit, either the front or the back, but it also gives you a visual indicator on where that object is, left, right, or center. You notice the center has a little bit further out range. Alright, there's neutral, drive, and if you need to limit your high gear or change the gears manually, you just bump it here to the manual mode to the left, and you can change to the gear like a ratchet shifter. So this is upshift, this is downshift, and you'll know what gear you're in because it'll show here. Right in this area here. At any time, you just move it to the right and it'll go back and drive. Alright, so this is your four-wheel drive system, and it's as simple as turning a knob. So you can adjust things for different terrains. So mud, rock, snow, and sand are the different ones in addition to automatic. So automatic will just kind of, keep you going, and it'll try to adjust depending on where you're at, what the vehicle can tell it needs. But if you put it in sand, mud, rock, or snow, it has more specific information to help you out. You also have a four-wheel drive low capability, so it's a true four-wheel drive. And this is a downhill descent. This is only off-road at very slow speeds. It's kind of like a cruise control for off-road downhill descent. So it keeps you at a forward motion without losing control and sliding down the hill, is what the intention is anyway. This little neutral right there, I don't have any experience with that, but it is, from what I understand, it is for flat towing. Alright, so here's your armrest. Very, very soft and comfortable. It's decent size. Does have the contrast stitching there. I don't feel any bottoming out at all. It's very soft and comfortable. It lifts up in two parts. The upper portion is here. There's a little place to put some tissues or something under the underside of the armrest there. And then this is a felt lined compartment here. Places for wires to go in and out there if you need them. This closes, and then there's a bottom. There's a top and bottom latch here. The bottom one opens up, and there is a felt line compartment, and there is an illumination right here. It's hard to tell because it's all black inside. There's also a 12-volt power supply right here, so it's right. You can kind of feel it better than you can see it. and the indicator right here showing you that it's turned on all the time, even when the vehicle's off. So it's directly connected to the battery. And there's a place for wire to go in and out of the compartment here. Alright, so it has an auto dim rear view mirror, and it's actually auto dimming right now because I have the shade over the light sensor, and the light sensor is on the right side back here. The side mirrors also auto dim, and they're auto dimming now as well. The camera will adjust, hopefully you can see that here on this side as well. It's just on the center portion, it has like the outer portion doesn't auto dim. Alright, you can turn that auto dim feature on or off here. There's also roadside assistance and emergency buttons. This vehicle has its own cellular connection, so even if you don't have your cell phone with you, you can access emergency services by pushing those buttons. It will allow you to cancel it once you push it, just in case you accidentally push it. Alright, there's a place to put your shades, and it has like a foam on the inside, including here. Has a little reading light here and here, and then it has a full more floodlight here on either side. Home link garage door opener controls are here. There's a little ambient light here in the center at nighttime. I did show that on my night video. You have the ability to open up the power liftgate, and this is for your panoramic sunroof. I'll get to that in just a minute. Now the visors are a black cloth, just like the headliner, and it does have a mirror and lights, the standard bulbs there, both the driver and the passenger. This does extend out if you need it. It also has a little clip right here. Same thing on the passenger side, same features on the visor. Okay, so let's look at the sunroof. Now it has this panoramic sunroof, and it covers up 100% of the light with a shade. So when we open it is when we let the light in. So I like the fact that it covers up 100% of the light. Alright, you push it again, it goes back more. So this first portion here moves, the back portion is fixed. And so we can push the button to vent it, or we can move it back. Push it again, it goes a little bit further back. So it opens up quite a bit. And close it up, and we can move the shade. And close that all the way, and now we'll move the shade. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. It does have some pillars back there, but you can see pretty good. Now it depends on the headrest and the passengers and the cargo space and all that stuff. It has a backup camera, parking sensors, rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, backup camera, like all kinds of safety features as far as helping you out with visibility. But overall I think it's pretty good. It's not bad. I've seen worse, I just say that, as far as visibility back here. Alright, so there you have it. 2021 80th anniversary edition. Let's look at the window sticker, because there's quite a few features here that separates different models. So here at the top it says 2021. It has the anniversary edition name. It has the base price. Grand Cherokee Limited is what everything's built on, 4-wheel drive. It shows the colors inside and out, the interior, engine, transmission, standard equipment, interior features, optional equipment. This is where you'll see prices next to it. Continues on to the next column, and it goes to a final total price here. Fuel economy, safety features, and where the vehicle's made. Okay, thank you for watching, and thank you to Vann, Underwood, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram here in Whiteville, North Carolina, and I'll see you guys next time.